Hey, I'm Jem. What I do is pretty simple. I help business owners get verified, pre qualified leads without wasting time on people who are never going to buy in the first place. In fact, I don't just teach this stuff, I literally sell leads that are already vetted, warmed up, and ready for a real conversation. So if you're tired of chasing ghosts or filling your CRM with contacts that never reply, you're in the right place. Now let's talk about something most marketers don't even realize is happening right under their noses. While everyone is obsessing over ads, SEO, funnels, and cold outbound, the highest quality B2B leads aren't living in any of those places. They're hiding in a part of the internet most businesses ignore, which is called dark social. I mean, it's not really dark social, but you get what I'm saying. Dark social is where conversations happen away from the public eye. These aren't your LinkedIn posts or Facebook comments. I'm talking about private, invite only communities, WhatsApp groups, Telegram channels, industry chats, niche mastermind circles, where these are just places where decision makers talk openly without worrying about being sold to. And guess what? That's exactly why it's a gold mine. Zero noise, zero competition, zero spam, just raw intent. Imagine stepping into a room where your ideal clients are already discussing their budgets, problems, and timelines, and all you have to do is show up with a solution. That's the power of dark social or these closed circles in Telegram, WhatsApp, private communities. All right. You don't have to call it dark. There's nothing dark about these. These are just private communities. All right. And today I'm going to walk you through 5 steps to turn these private conversations to a predictable, scalable lead pipeline. And here's what we're covering today. Number one, finding the right groups where your ideal clients hang out. Number two, value first message, the exact message that gets a response. Number three, pre-qualifying leads, a simple filter in under 60 seconds. Number four, scaling outreach without looking like a spammer. And number five, finally, how to convert that chat into a closed deal. Stick around because if you're spending thousands on ads or burning hours on cold emails that get ignored, this might be the most profitable shift you can make this year. And if you want to skip the work entirely, you can buy verified leads directly from me. Just check the links in the description. Yes, I sell the results, not the theory. All right. Before anything else, we need to talk about where this journey actually starts because the biggest mistake business owners make is thinking lead generation is a numbers game, more messages, more tools, more volume. Wrong. That's the shotgun approach. It's loud, it's messy, and it's ineffective. What you need instead is precision, a sniper strategy, like the American sniper. And that's what brings us to step one, finding your people here, all right? Point number one is today, identifying the right groups and channels. All right. This step is all about being hyper specific and community mapping. You're not looking for a group called business owners or entrepreneurs chat. Those are dead zones, way too broad, way too noisy. You're looking for rooms so niche that people inside practically raise their hand saying, we have this exact problem and we're ready to solve it. Think of it like this. If you don't want a lake with millions of fish, you want a pond where every fish eats what you're selling. All right. It's too big. All right. Lake's too big. We want a small pond here. All right. Let me show you how this actually works. Let's say I'm working with a B2B SaaS company that sells a specialized HR compliance software. Their ideal buyer is a chief operating officer at a mid-sized firm with 500 to 8,000 employees. Sounds specific, right? Good. That's exactly the point. Here's how we track them down inside the dark social. First step is smart search, not broad. All right. We don't search for generic terms like COO. This gets you nowhere. We go deeper and more intentionally. We look for groups like SHRM Certification Study Group, Private Equity Portfolio Ops Leaders, U.S. Labor Compliance Circle. All right, this is perfect. These aren't random business owners. They're operators deeply invested in HR compliance issues because their jobs depend on it. All right, and then step two, if we can join, then we join and observe first. All right, once we find these Telegram or WhatsApp groups, we don't storm in like desperate salespeople. Instead, we quietly join, read, and listen. Imagine a Telegram channel where COOs from private equity portfolio companies are discussing compliance requirements tied to new federal labor laws. That's not just a chat. It's not just a chat. That's a clear buying signal, and that's what we're looking for here. All right. Step 3, identify the pain points. And here's where the magic happens. Inside these conversations, people reveal their frustrations, their blockers, their deadlines, their budget constraints, their exact needs. It's like eavesdropping on the meeting where they decide what they're going to buy next. And once you know the pain, the messaging writes itself. You stop guessing, you start solving, and that's when leads stop ghosting you because you're not interrupting them, you're helping them. All right. Now, now that you find your ideal buyers hanging out in the right places, here's the trap most people fall into. They get excited and pitch way too fast. That's a rookie move now. If you sell before you serve, you lose. So instead, we move into step 2, crafting a value first message that gets people to reply. And trust me, once you get this part right, leads start leaning in like this. All right, crafting the value first message. This is important. So let's talk about that first message because it's the make or break moment. You're not trying to close a deal in the first DM. You're trying to do one thing: start a real conversation with someone who feels understood. That's it. Your first message should be 3 things: personalized, brief, pain specific. Think of it like tapping someone on the shoulder at a networking event. You wouldn't walk up to them, shove a contract in their face, and say, sign this. You'd reference something they said, relate to it, and offer something helpful. Same logic here, just in chat form. All right, let's break this down so you can literally copy this structure and plug it into your own outreach. Now, step 1, reference the group. Mention a specific group you both share. This lowers their guard. Example, hey name, saw your post in the Texas Commercial Builders WhatsApp group. Hey name, noticed your comment in the Portfolio Ops Leaders Telegram channel. Hey name, I'm also in the NYC SaaS Founders Seed Stage group with you. All right, this is perfect because we're adding context and this lowers their guard. Step 2, acknowledge a real pain point. Reference something specific they said or a common group topic. It could be a regulation they're worried about, a cost issue they mentioned, a deadline they're stressed about, a technical challenge they brought up. All right, so we want to do some recon here. We want to do some analysis in the group and then take that information and apply it to our messaging. All right, that's pretty simple. We want to have context here. All right, the more context we have, the higher likely it is for us to get a response, and a positive response, and a response with no guard up. All right, at least with a lowered guard. That's what we're looking for here. Step 3, offer a micro solution, not a product pitch. All right, we want to provide a small, useful piece of value without a pitch. This could be a checklist, framework, or template. It should be fast to consume and immediately useful. We want to give them a micro win, something useful, something small. This could be a 1-page checklist, a simple framework, a short Loom video, a template that they can plug into their current system. The key is it should be fast to consume, immediately useful, and clearly connected to the pain they mentioned. All right, let's bring this to life with a real scenario. Let's say you sell high-end commercial HVAC maintenance contracts. You're inside a WhatsApp group called Texas Commercial Builders, and you see a construction firm owner complaining about the new energy efficiency standards and how they're wrecking their budget. And here's what most people would send. This is a bad message. Hey, I sell HVAC contracts. Want to buy one? Nope. The good message is, hey name, I saw your post in Texas Commercial Builders Group about the new efficiency standards. That's a headache. I actually put together a 1-page checklist for Texas firms on the 3 most overlooked compliance areas that can save you around 15% on utility costs this quarter. Mind if I send it over? All right, this is no pitch, just value. This is perfect. And let's break down why this works so well. We say, I saw your post in the group. This instantly explains who you are and where you came from. That's a headache. This shows empathy. I actually put together a 1-page checklist. You're leading with something concrete and easy to consume. And for Texas firms, this is hyper specific. It's location based and benefit driven. And mind if I send it over, no pitch, just value. All right, this is perfect. There's low friction. You're asking permission. All right, you're removing pressure. And you're signaling that you just want to help and you're not leading salesy. All right. And boom, that's your opening. You've started a relationship based on value, not pressure. Now, here's the important thing to remember. A response is great, but a response alone doesn't mean you got a real lead. Some people are just curious. Some will be polite and reply. Some will take the resource and disappear. That's totally fine because your next job is to not chase everyone. It's to figure out quickly who's actually worth your time. And that's exactly what step 3 is all about, which is the pre-qualification filter. We use this in a lot of our other systems, and I keep coming back to this because it's very useful. So the entire purpose of this step is simple. Like I said in previous videos, turn a friendly back and forth into a real business conversation without jumping on a sales call too early. Think of it like moving from small talk at a networking event to, okay, let's see if we're actually fit. You're not interrogating them. You're not pitching. You're just asking the right question at the right time to find out if this person is someone worth pursuing. All right. We don't want to push them. We just want to see if they're worth pursuing. After they accept your free checklist, template, or micro solution, you send a follow up message that feels natural and helpful, not salesy. Here's the exact kind of message that does the heavy lifting for you. All right. Glad you found that helpful. Just out of curiosity, what's the biggest bottleneck you're facing right now? And insert the area you solve, insert the area you solve into, like, insert something relevant to their business. All right. Are you currently working with a vendor to fix that, or is it something you're tackling internally? All right. Let's and let's break down why this works so well. All right. It feels casual, not salesy. It doesn't feel like a pitch. It's like a conversation. Step two, and number two, the second reason why it works so well, it exposes their pain. You're asking about their biggest bottleneck, which forces them to reveal what's stressing them out right now, like or compliance workload doubled this quarter. All right, that's a big problem. Our onboarding process is costing us too much time. That's a big problem as well. We can't keep up with energy requirements. That's a big problem as well. All right, you've just uncovered gold, and that's the need. All right, we know why they have a problem. Step three, it reveals their buying stage. All right, when we ask the follow up question of are you working with a vendor or doing it internally, we know what certain things mean. All right. So I have a list here that we're going to go through. All right. If they say we signed with someone already, that means they're locked in. Just move on. We're shopping around. This is a hot lead. We're trying to solve it internally. Good lead, likely overwhelmed. We don't have a solution yet. This is perfect, ripe for guidance. All right. Without asking about budget directly, which feels aggressive, now you now know, do they have a problem, need, are they motivated to solve it? Are they part of the decision-making authority? All right, you learn everything you need without sounding like a sales rep. This one message saves you hours of pointless conversations and eliminates anyone who is just window shopping. And once someone passes this filter, they're no longer a random person in a group chat, they're a legitimate prospect. That's when sales stops feeling like chasing and starts feeling like choosing. At this point, you might be thinking, Jem, this is genius. There's no way I can do this manually all day. And you're right. Talking to every single person one-on-one doesn't scale unless you know how to automate just enough without losing that personal touch, which brings us to the next stage of the system. Scaling the outreach without spamming. All right. You don't scale these dark social or private social platforms by automating conversations. You scale by automating everything on the conversation. Because the moment your messages feel templated, robotic, or mass produced, you're done. People in private groups can smell spam a mile away. And I can tell you, I've paid for a lot of these groups. I've gone into free groups, and you can see these salespeople most of the time in the general chats and any public channel. They keep on spamming their offers, which leads them to no sales and nothing, zero, nada. All right. So instead of automating the message, we automate the infrastructure. All right. We don't want to spam these people. Here's how to scale without becoming that guy who gets banned from every group. And people will actually ban you from these groups if you're trying to sell stuff. And 99% of groups have a rule where you can't sell. All right. So we don't want to be salesy here. All right. This is a step by step. Step one, build a template library. Create 5 to 10 modular opening messages tailored to different industries, pain points, group types, and levels of urgency. This cuts writing time significantly. All right. These aren't generic copy paste scripts. That's why we have variations here. Step two, use a simple CRM or even just Google Sheets. You don't need HubSpot, Salesforce, or a fancy tool. A basic spreadsheet with 3 essential columns can change your entire workflow. Where they came from, group, channel name, their pain point, what they complained about, resource sent, checklist, template, video, etc. Here's why this matters. You remember exactly what you said. You never repeat yourself. You know what to follow up to send. You avoid awkward moments like sending the same checklist twice. It also makes you look organized and attentive because nothing kills a deal faster than, wait, who are you again? I time block like a pro, dedicate 30 minutes for outreach and 30 minutes for follow-ups daily. Consistency turns dark social or these private groups into a predictable lead engine. Why does this work? This scales the system, not the spam, maintaining authenticity and credibility. All right. We put in the time, Once you build this machine, each day becomes the simple pattern. All right, you show up, you send value, you qualify, you move winners forward. Okay, that's scaling without ever losing your credibility or authenticity. All right. So at this point, you've done everything right. You found the perfect group. You send a message that actually gets a reply. You filter out the dead leads and kept the winners. And now you have a system running in the background that supports you without drowning you. There's only one thing left, the most important moment of this entire process, turning that private chat into a real business outcome, a meeting, or a sale. That brings us to the final step. Point number 5, converting the conversation to a meeting sale. Here's the big mindset shift. The close doesn't happen on a pitch. It happens through comfort and clarity. Your only goal at this stage is to reduce friction. The mistake people make is they ask for too much too soon, like a 60-minute Zoom demo with slides and screen shares. Right? That's way too heavy, too formal, and too early. Instead, you want the next step to feel effortless, like a continuation of the conversation they already enjoy having with you. All right, here's how you do it. Use voice notes. I'd send short voice notes on WhatsApp or Telegram. This humanizes you, builds trust, and conveys tone and personality. All right. Step 2, the quick fix call. Offer a 10-minute clarification chat, not a sales call. If it feels like help, it should feel like help. All right, not a pitch. This is your Trojan horse, and I don't want to use that label because a lot of other people use it, but it's a Trojan horse. But we don't want to think of it salesy. Like we were trying to sell, but at the same time, we want to keep it genuine. All right. So, yeah, that's why we use those systems. Step 3, simple one-page proposal. After the call, provide a short bullet point breakdown. Here's the problem you told me you have. Here's the solution we can implement. Here's what it costs. Here's how fast we can start. Delivered right inside the chat. Zero effort, high clarity, zero confusion. All right, let's say you're a financial advisor in California messaging a high net worth real estate investor inside a Telegram community. He's stressed about a large capital gains tax from a recent property sale. The close message, which is the voice note script I'm recommending you, is, "Hey, name, I've got 2 simple strategies that could save you 6 figures on that capital gains issue. It's much easier to explain than type out. I'm free for a quick 10-minute chat now, or I can do 2 p.m. Pacific. No pressure. Just want to help you keep more of your money." All right, this is perfect. What happens next? He books the call. You give him clarity. He sees you as the solution. And because the relationship started in a trusted private environment, not a cold inbox, the chances of closing are exponentially higher. Dark social or these private communities don't just produce leads, it produces high intent leads. All right, they're very effective at producing high intent leads. And there you have it, the 5-step blueprint in unlocking the dark social lead Goldmine, or whatever you want to call it, the private group chat, private channel, private community Goldmine. All right, let's do a recap. Our first point is how to find hyper-specific private groups. You learned how to find hyper-specific private groups where ideal buyers are openly discussing their problems. The second point was you crafted a message that enters the conversation the right way by leading with value instead of asking for attention. The third point was you filtered out the freeloaders and curiosity clickers, focusing only on people with real urgency, authority, and the need. The fourth point was you built a lightweight process that scales your outreach without ever sounding like a robot. And the fifth point was you transformed a simple chat into a business opportunity using micro commitments instead of scary sales walls. Now, take a step back and look at what you built. You're not cold emailing strangers, praying a pipeline materializes. You're entering existing conversations where buyers already trust each other. You're speaking directly to real problems they acknowledge first, and you're turning chat messages, tiny lines of text into real meetings, real proposals, and real revenue. This is the next evolution of B2B lead generation. Not louder, not bigger, just smarter. And the businesses that adopt this early will win quietly, consistently, and massively. All right. If you want to skip the learning curve and get straight to results, here's the best part. I already sell pre-qualified leads using this exact same system, not scraped leads, not random emails, real people already talking about real problems, ready for real conversations. Want in? Click the links below, buy verified B2B leads, or have my team build out this entire private community or lead generation system for your business. Either way, you're not just buying leads, you're buying a predictable pipeline. If this video helped you, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment with the niche you want leads from, share this video with someone who needs smarter lead gen, subscribe if you want weekly breakdowns like this, So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.